What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to some more Dead by Daylight. Now in this video, instead of bringing you some gameplay, we're going to be doing a survivor tier list. Now we have already done a killer tier list. Now if you guys want to check that out, it'll be down in the description below. Go ahead and check that out. But we're just going to be focusing on the survivors in this video, and I might be doing these types of tier lists every single maybe new chapter release, maybe even the mid chapter release, just because there's always new content coming to Dead by Daylight when it comes to buffs, when it comes to nerfs, when it comes to new survivors, new killers, and all this stuff. So I think it'd be cool to do this every once in a while, just so we can all see where we're at least in my opinion, when it comes to these survivors and killers, see where they're at in the rankings. Okay, so we're gonna be doing the survivors. We're gonna be ranking them, putting in a tier, a certain tier, whether it's S, A, B, C, or D being the worst, D being the worst. And yeah, now first off, we're gonna get the S survivors, the survivors that I think belong in S tier, out of the way. All right, just gonna get those out of the way right now. Now first one is gonna be Meg, my girl Meg. Let's go and check out her perks and see why she belongs in the S tier. So her perks are Quick and Quiet, Sprint Burst, and Adrenaline. Now, I cannot begin to tell you guys how many survivors actually rock one of these perks. At least 95% probably of Dead by Daylight survivors rock one of these perks all the time. Okay, me, especially me, I'm one of those people. All right, I use Adrenaline all the time. If I actually want to try really hard, get a little sweaty in the game, maybe I'm gonna be using Adrenaline. Okay, Adrenaline is an amazing perk, it's a top tier perk. Sprint Burst is also a great perk. I wouldn't say it's really top tier, just because I know some people use it. Well, me personally, I would using it to get from point A to point B. Some people use it differently. They actually just walk around the whole match and just wait for the killer to get near them, and then they sprint burst away. So I don't think it's that top tier of a perk. I would put somewhere in the middle. It's definitely not a useless perk. And the last one is Quick and Quiet. Now this is a great perk that you can combine it with so many other perks. It's amazing. It's whether you're vaulting, trying to get away with the killer, whether you're trying to go in the locker in combination with Head On. At least that's the way I use it. All right, all these are great perks. Quick and Quiet and Adrenaline are the top tier perks, at least in my opinion. Sprint Burst is also a good perk, but this is why Meg is in the top tier S survivor tier list. Something like that. All right, next survivor. Next we got the next S tier survivor we have is Lori. Now let's check out her perks. Now her three perks are Soul Survivor, Object of Obsession, and Decisive Strike. Now the reason she is a S tier survivor in my opinion is because of the Decisive Strike. Guys, we all play Dead by Daylight. We know what camping is. We know what tunneling is. All right, if you're toxic, you're probably running this perk. If you're trying to survive, you're probably also running this perk. Okay, it could go either way. Me, I use this perk just because in my games I try to lure the killer away from my teammates, just so I can buy a lot of time so I can do the objective. Okay, and that maybe leads to tunneling. That maybe leads to the killer tunneling you for wasting all his time. Or if you're just being toxic and you know you're gonna get tunneled, use this perk to just, get away and be even more toxic. Totally up to you. But anyway, second perk is Object of Obsession. Now this is a really good perk. Like I said, I'm assuming all you guys already know what these perks are. Object of Obsession. Me, I will use this perk in case I want to help my teammates out, because the killer sees my aura, I see their aura. And basically, if you see each other's aura, you're probably gonna get chased down and whatnot. So I would use this perk by just especially if you're an experienced survivor. If you're an experienced survivor, you're probably using this perk just because you're trying to buy time for your teammates, or you're just trying to be toxic and use it some other way. All right, next perk is Soul Survivor. Me, I don't really use this perk a lot. It disrupts the killer's aura, and also no, that's basically all it does. It disrupts the killer's aura, but it has to be within a maximum range of 20, 22, 24 meters. And it only really works really well if your teammates get killed or sacrificed. Okay, so that perk is not that great, at least in my opinion. But Object of Obsession and Decisive Strike can be used really well. All right, enough of Lori. Let's go next. Also, guys, the way I'm going about this when it comes to tier list, I'm going to try and go real fast, trying to keep this short and sweet, just because if I go through every single one of these perks, if I read every single description of these perks of every single survivor, we will be here for legit a total hour, okay? Believe me. So that's why I'm doing this the way I am, okay? Anyway, next survivor is Claudette. Claudette, you're amazing, you're incredible, but we're gonna go ahead and put her in A tier. Let's check out the perks. Now, these are Claudette's 3 perks: empathy, botany, knowledge, and self-care. All these perks are amazing, guys. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Empathy, being able to see your teammates whenever they're injured. Amazing, incredible perk, especially if it's used combined with a healing perk. Let's say We'll Make It, or the second perk, which is Claudette's botany knowledge. That is a great combination, especially if we're going with a healing build. Healing is gonna be a lot better in the game. It's not gonna let you waste a lot of time, because we all know healing is sometimes a waste of time, okay? This brings us to the third perk, which is self-care. Now, I don't use this perk at all, rather much bring a medkit into the game. This is probably the perk why I bring her down a notch from the S tier to the A tier, because guys, self-care is great and all. Like, I know you can self-heal without medkit, but still it wastes a lot of time. It is 50% of the normal healing speed, okay? That is really slow. Yes, it gets you healed up, that's the whole point, but it is so slow when you be using all that time to do the objective, whether it's go and help someone on a hook, whether it's actually doing a generator, okay? This is a time waster perk. It's useful, but it's a time waster perk, which is why I bring her down from S to A. Next survivor. Next survivor is my boy, the one and only Dwight. He belongs right up there in A tier. Let's check out the perks. Now, Dwight over here comes with some legit amazing perks. Really great perks. One of them is Bond, which allows you to see your teammates' auras if they're within 20, 28, 36 meters, which is... Now, Dwight's 3 perks are Bond, Prove Thyself, and Leader. All great perks. None of them are useless whatsoever. Alright, you have a perk that literally helps you with objective, and you have another perk that also can help you when it comes to healing, when it comes to unhooking, cleansing, opening gates, and chests. That is a lot of things that can help you with just one perk, guys. The only thing is that when it comes to Dwight, which brings her from the S tier to A tier, you basically, these are co-op perks. You basically have to be with another survivor in order for these to actually help you in game. So, Bond, Prove Thyself, Leader, all great perks. I think Prove Thyself and Leader are right up there. Bond, not so much, but is a useful perk. Is not useless whatsoever. Alright, next survivor. Next up, we have the entity itself, Nia. Alright, Nia, you're going right up there with Dwight and Claudette. Now let's check out her perks. Now, Nia's perks are Balanced Landing, Urban Evasion, and Streetwise. So you have a perk that helps you out reduce the consumption rate of your items, whether it's flashlight, toolbox, medkits, and you have Urban Evasion, which is a stealth perk. I don't personally use that much. I don't really care about being stealthy when it comes to killers. And you also have Balanced Landing, which I think is the reason I bring her way up there in the A tier list, which Balanced Landing is such a good perk, man. It's such a good perk, especially if you're in a chase, you're being chased down by the killer, you think you're gonna go down, go up a hill, go up on a tractor in the far maps or something, and just drop down. You reduce also your stagger duration from fall, so you don't just sit there for a while and then start going, like if you're not rocking this perk. But if you do rock this perk, it's basically you just drop down and go. You get basically a sprint burst as soon as you land. So it's really useful, really great perk. I definitely think is a top tier perk when it comes to Dead by Daylight. So all these perks are great, but I definitely put her in the A tier list. All right, next survivor. Next up, we have Bunny Feng herself, Feng Min. All right, Feng Min. She's gonna go right up there along with Claudette, Dwight, and Nia, and let's check out her perks and see why. Not just because she's waifu for lifeu, it's because these 3 perks right here: Technician, Life, and Alert. I can't tell you guys how underrated Alert really is. So if you guys don't know what Alert really is, I'm gonna go ahead and read the description just for this perk. when the killer performs a pallet break or generate damage action, their aura is revealed to you for 3, 4, 5 seconds. So it's an information perk. It lets you know location of the killer, whether they're breaking a pallet or whether they're damaging a generator. That is so much information to go by. And also keep in mind that there is no limit to this perk. There's no limit, and there's no meter range. You don't have to be within a certain amount of range in order to see that aura. It can be anywhere in the map. You just listen to the notification and look around, and you'll be able to see what that killer is doing, which is such a great thing. Great perk. Next up is life. Amazing. I sometimes use, whenever I try to get away from the killer, I use balanced landing from Nia, or I use life from Feng Min. Both are great. These are very situational perks. And also the last one is technician, which brings her which basically not makes her an S tier survivor. In my opinion, technician is good. It's not useless, but then again, I don't really use it that much, and I don't think it really helps a lot when it comes to escaping a killer or doing objective work. All right, so that's why I bring it down from S to A. Next survivor. Next up, we have another OG, which is going to be my man Jake Park. Jake, buddy, I think you're going to be B. Nothing below that, that's for sure. So let's check out his perks. So Jake's 3 perks are Iron Will, Conspirit, and Saboteur, if I said that right. Now, I can't begin to even tell you guys how good Iron Will really is. This is an amazing perk. It helps you out when it comes to countering some, actually a lot of killers, okay? Especially if you're trying to pull a fast one on the killer, trying to hide, trying to not really make that much noise whenever you're around them. Iron Will is amazing just because grunts of pain that are caused by injury are reduced by 50, 75, 100%. You make no noise whatsoever. That is a great thing. That's a great perk. Definitely do think that's a top tier perk in DBD. Now, Conspirit, totally not useless. I think a lot of people think that this perk is really dumb, not good at all. Okay, so what Conspirit really does, it reduces the chance you have alerting crows. Yes, I get that. So that basically counters spies, but your calm spirit can overcome the urge to scream. So that right there also counters like the doctor. Okay, this is such a good perk to counter one of the killers in DBD. So not useless at all, but then again, it's like, what are the chances if you actually get in doctor while using this, right? So anyway, that's why I put him in B tier. All right, now Saboteur, since the buff, guys, this perk is amazing. Okay, this perk is really good, really fun, really situational. It can also be a meme perk, just because, especially if a lot of survivors are doing this. If you guys are watching each other's backs and actually doing like comms or something, you can definitely have a lot of fun with this perk. Killer picks up the survivor, goes for a hook, you get there first. Sabotage, he goes for another hook, you have another teammate that you're also doing cons with, and sabotage that hook and just cause them to wiggle off or just drop them. So either way, very situational perk, but very good perk. I think it's a top tier perk. So next survivor. Next up, the Left 4 Dead legend himself. It's gonna be Bill, guys, and I'm gonna put him in A tier. Let's check out the perks and I'll tell you why. Alright guys, Bill's 3 perks are Left Behind, Borrowed Time, and Unbreakable. 2 of these perks are already the top tier perks. Alright guys, I love these perks so much. I love messing around with them in combination with other perks. These are great, okay? Especially, let me explain myself, Unbreakable. This can go really well when it comes to one of Tax's perks as well, which is called Tenacity. Use these 2 together. It's an amazing combination, but we'll get to tap eventually. And also the second perk is Borrow Time. Borrow Time can help you so much and your teammates so much. Okay, let's say one of your teammates are being camped. Borrow Time is going to help you so much with that. If you guys don't know what Borrow Time is, I'll read the description for this one. After unhooking survivor within the killer's terror radius for 15 seconds, any damage taken that would put the unhooked survivor into the dying state will instead apply the deep wound status effect. So that right there helps you out so much if you're trying to go for escapes, you're trying to prevent camping, tunneling, all that stuff. So this is a top tier perk. This is a great perk. And last of Bill's perks is Left Behind. I personally don't use this that much, but it can come really handy, especially if you're used to getting potato survivors and you're always the last one standing. Left Behind is going to help you a lot, which helps you find the hatch if you're within a certain amount of meters. So that's Bill. Amazing survivor. That's why I put him in the A tier. Next survivor. Next up is David. The legend himself. Alright, David. Oh man, this is tough. I don't think David is definitely a S tier survivor. I would put him in either A or B, nothing below that. I think David is good, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and put him in B right with Jake. Now let's check out the perks. So David's 3 perks are No Mither, Dead Hard, We're Gonna Live Forever. So one of these perks is used almost in 95% of DVD games, which is Dead Hard. We all know what Dead Hard is. It is great when it comes to just avoiding damage from the killer and also shortening distances from, let's say you're getting chased, you shorten the distance between you and a pallet just so you can get to the pallet faster, drop the pallet, make your escape, or buy some time. You know what I mean, okay? Dead Hard is very good, very situational perk, and it's a top tier perk in DVD. Next up is We're Gonna Live Forever. It's basically just a blood point perk. It's great if you're trying to complete like blood webs, you're trying to get these perks as fast as possible. It's a great perk, but it doesn't help you in game at all, not towards objective, not helping out your teammates. So that's why I put David and bring him down a notch in the list. Next up is No Mither. God damn it, David. No Mither. Alright. So when it comes to this perk, we all know it, alright? It brings you to the broken stats effect all game. You're one shot all game, but you don't leave any pools of blood. You reduce your grunts of pain, and also, but you're able to fully recover from the dying state. Also, you probably heard some thunder because it's raining right now. Anyway, No Mither is basically, it can definitely be a meme perk. Actually, it is a meme perk. I'll be totally honest, but this is basically the reason why I bring David a little down and bring him along with Jake to the where I put him, B tier. Okay, that's the whole reason why. But anyway, those are David's perks. Not totally useless, even though some people think No Mither is completely useless. There's no reason to use it at all, and I kind of agree with that. I won't lie, but that perk is very situational. It can help you out a little bit in certain situations, but yeah, that's David. All right, next survivor. All right, next up we have Nancy. Good old Stranger Things. I love that show so much. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and put her in B. I definitely don't think she's up there with these guys, these other survivors. I think B is fair. Let's check out the perks. So Nancy's 3 perks are Better Together, Fixated, and Inner Strength. Now let's talk about Inner Strength. A very good perk, especially if you use combination with other perks that are also in the game. Some people use it with Head On, some people use it with Quick and Quiet. Great combinations, all of them. And Inner Strength, if you guys don't know what that is, basically after cleansing a totem, you go in the locker for a certain amount of seconds, you get from the injured state to the healthy state. All right, it's a great perk. I definitely don't think it's a top tier perk, but it does help you out. And next up is Fixated. Basically, you're just able to see your scratch marks. It doesn't help you out objective wise, doesn't help you out with anything else. You're just able to see your scratch marks. Okay, it can help you if you're trying to be basically a little stealthy. If you're trying to make the killer think you went one way, but in reality you're just somewhere else, I guess that can help you out, but I don't think it's a top tier perk at all. I think it's, if anything, I think it's a lower tier perk just because it doesn't help you out at all in game when it comes to doing the objective and getting out. So next up, the 3rd perk is Better Together. I'll actually read the description for this one. The aura of the generator you're currently repairing is revealed to all generators located within 32 meters. If the killer downs the survivor while you're repairing generator, you can see the auras of all survivors for a certain amount of seconds. So if you're on a generator, you're able to show off your aura to other survivors just to say, hey, I'm here working on the generator. You can come over here. If you need some healing, you know where I'm at. If you want to help me out with this gen, I'll be here. That's basically what this perk is. Not useless, but then again, it's not top tier perk at all whatsoever. All right. Next survivor. Next up is Nancy's BF. Actually, scratch that. Nancy, you don't deserve Steve. Just saying. You broke my boy's heart. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and put him in C tier, and let's check out his perks, and I'll let you guys know why. My man Steve, I love you, man, but what the hell are your perks? I'm just saying, man. Like, basically, if you want to get tunneled, choose one of Steve's perks. You want to get camped, choose one of Steve's perks. All right. Steve's 3 perks are Babysitter, Camaraderie, and also Second with. The reason I'm saying all this stuff is because, you know, I'll actually read the description from my boy right here. It is babysitter. When you unhook a survivor, the unhooked survivor leaves no scratch marks or blood trails for the next certain amount of seconds. Both you and the killer see each other's aura. That right there already tells you, okay? You help your teammate out, they're able to escape, but guess what? Now the killer sees you and then you're about to get chased. Basically, that tells you right there. You're about to get chased, you're about to get tunneled, probably. Especially if you're toxic in game. That's the perk for you. Okay? Now, second one is camaraderie. Now, this actually is a good perk. This is the reason why I don't put Steve down there in D tier. I put him in C tier just because this perk is actually not that bad. It's actually pretty good, especially if you are being camped and or tunneled. This perk is going to help you out so much, man. So I'll read the description for this one. While you are on hook, the struggle phase camaraderie activates if another survivor is within 16 meters of your hook. While camaraderie is activated, the struggle phase timer is paused for 26, 30, 34 seconds. That is a long time, guys. That is a long time. That gives your teammates enough time to get to you. That gives your teammates enough time to come up with a plan to get you off the hook. My phone's going off. And to get you off the hook and just basically brainstorm to see how they can help you out of a certain situation. So that perk is actually really good in my opinion. Last one is Second Wind. Now this is a long ass descriptive perk. I don't think I'm even gonna read this, right? Like I said, I'm gonna assume you guys know what this perk does. I'm sure you guys don't even use it that much. There's a long ass description when it comes to this perk. I'm not gonna go into it, honestly. Okay, just know that this is another reason why Steve is in C tier. So let's go on to the next survivor. Next up is my man, honestly, the metalist looking survivor in DBD, which is my man, Jeff. Jeff, you want Jeff? I'll give it to you. I'll give you that B tier, okay? You're not gonna be there with Steve. I promise you, okay? This is why. Let's check out his perks. Jeff, don't ever say I didn't do anything for you. But here are his 3 perks, which is Breakdown, Aftercare, and Distortion. Let's go off with the first perk, which is Distortion. Let's talk about this one, guys. This is one of the reasons why I don't put him in D tier, C tier. This is why I brought him up to B tier, right? At least I think, yeah. Okay, we brought him up to B tier. This is the reason why. This is a very good perk just because it disrupts the killer's aura reading ability, okay? So I'll read the description for this one. Whenever the killer reads your aura, distortion activates and a token is consumed. For the next 6, 8, 10 seconds while distortion is activated, your aura and scratch marks will not be shown to the killer. Distortion does not activate when you are in the dying state or affected by traps. So this right here, a lot of killers these days, especially like red rank killers, if you're going like a huntress, going up against a Billy, they mostly, probably 80-90% of the time, use barbecue and chili, or probably like, there's another perk, I totally can't think about it right now, but anyway, let's just go around with barbecue and chili. Okay, most of the top tier killers use this perk, and this perk basically counters it. It does not counter it a lot, just because you only get 3 tokens, so you're only able to disrupt the killer aura 3 times. So this is another reason why I brought him up a little bit more than Steve. Okay, now next up is Aftercare. I don't use this perk at all whatsoever. You're basically able to see a teammate's aura. If you've rescued them, they've rescued you, you healed them, they healed you, and that's basically it. Okay, if I wanted to see my teammates' auras, I would use Bond. If I want to use my teammates' aura, I'd rather use Claudette's perk. Totally forgot. But anyway, you guys get the point. Okay, I'd rather use those perks, even though Claudette's perk, you have to be injured in order for us to see them. I'd rather use those in Aftercare. I will be honest, okay? Last one is Breakdown. Now, this is a underrated perk, in my opinion, okay? This can be very useful. Very, very useful in certain situations, all right? I'll read the description for this one. Anytime you're unhooked or unhook yourself, the hook breaks and the killer's aura is shown to you for a certain amount of seconds, okay? So this totally breaks the hook that you're being hooked on. Very situational. I'll just throw an explanation, like let's say you are about to leave through the gate, you get caught, you go down, he puts you on a hook near the gate, your teammates are able to get you off, but hey, look, the killer's right here, right in front of you, knocks you down again, okay? Now they have to travel a further distance to actually hook you again. But then again, your teammates might help you out. They might have a flashlight. They might actually take some hits for you and allow you to wiggle off and whatnot and escape the game. So that's just a brief explanation of why this perk is really good. Just an explanation, just an example, you know. But anyway, I think this perk is good. Totally not useless, which actually brings up a little more up there when it comes to the tier list. Next survivor. Not gonna lie, I'm starting to run out of breath talking about all this. All right, next up. Okay, guys, y'all chill for just a second. All right, y'all chill right there for just a second. All right, next up, we're gonna talk about. Let's go with Yui. All right, let's go with Yui. Yui, you're all right. You're not down there along with 3, maybe 4 of these guys. Okay. You know, I will put you in the B tier list. You know why? Let's check out why. Now, Yui's 3 perks are Lucky Break, Any Means Necessary, and Breakout. Now, 2 of these perks I think are very, very good. Okay, first up, let's talk about Breakout. So, if your teammate's being carried away, and if you're within a certain amount of meters of your teammate while he's being carried away, it basically gives them a 20% increase when it comes to the wiggle speed. So, it lets them escape the killer's grasp a lot faster. And on top of that, you do get a haste status effect speed, so you get bonus speed while that is happening. So that right there itself is great, especially in combination with other perks that are in the game also. Next up is Any Means Necessary, which is press and hold the active ability button for 4 seconds while standing beside a drop pallet to reset it. It resets drop pallets, guys. I think this is really good, especially when it comes to lower ranks, just because if you have this perk, you're probably gonna have teammates that just dropping pallets left and right all over the map, wasting pallets like nothing. And you know what? Now there's a perk for it. Now you can just reset the pallet. You can put it back up and you're able to use it later on in the game. I think these 2 perks are very good, which is the reason why I don't put her in the bottom of the list. Okay, now Lucky Break. This perk I haven't messed around with. I'm not gonna lie to you guys that much, but what this perk does, it basically leaves no trails of blood for a certain amount of seconds, and it doesn't deplete until you're basically if you're injured for a long time, it will deplete. But if you get healed while this perk is activated, it pauses the perk and you're able to use it at a later time. Which you get healed, you get hurt again, perk will activate then. If you get healed again, it pauses again. So like I said, it just pauses the perk as the game goes by. So I think that's not useless, but definitely it doesn't help you objective wise in the game. It doesn't really help you survive in the game that much either. It doesn't help you escape the killer that much. So that's why I bring her a little bit down, not S tier, not A tier, but B tier I think was fair enough. All right, we're getting really close to the end, but next up is gonna be, let's talk about Kate for a little bit. Let's talk about it. All right, Kate, I'm sorry, you're gonna be right next to Steve. Okay, right next to Steve. Now let's check out the perks. Let's talk about it a little bit. Now, Kate's 3 perks are Boil Over, Windows of Opportunity, and Dance With Me. Boil Over, we were just talking about this earlier. You can use it in combination with one of Yui's perks. I feel like those 2 will go really well together. Just lets you, it gives you a struggle, it allows you to struggle faster whenever you're being carried away by the killer. Okay, so it lets you escape the killer's grasp a lot faster. Windows of Opportunity, I feel like this perk is good, especially if you're in lower ranks, but in top tier ranks, in like in red ranks, it's not going to help you out at all. It just allows you to see where vaults are, where pallets are in the map if you're close enough. So it's an aura reading ability perk, but it's not going to help you out in game that much, guys. Especially in red ranks, this perk is useless. I'd rather much use my perk slot for something else. Now, the final perk is Dance With Me. So basically, you leave no scratch marks whenever you leave the locker for 3 seconds. By itself, this perk is terrible. It's a bottom tier perk, but in combination with something else, maybe like Quick and Quiet, that might help you out. It could be used as like a stealthy perk, all right? That might not be too bad. Next survivor, I'm done talking about Kate. Next, I have my boy, Adam Francis. Adam, I hate to do this to you, bro. or you're gonna be in the C tier. I'm not gonna leave you down there in D tier with other people down there. All right, I'm gonna leave you in the C tier. Let's check out the perks. All right, man. Now, Adam, especially one of your perks, bro, but we'll get into that later. 3 of your perks, the 3 Adam Francis perks, are Autodidact, Deliverance, and Diversion. One of these perks are extremely useful, which we're talking about Deliverance, which allows you to basically unhook yourself. Gives you a 100% chance to unhook yourself from the hook. Let's say your teammates are across the map, can't get to you in time. You know what? It's fine. It's chill. I'll do this myself. Lets you get off the hook, but you are equipped with the broken stats effect for a certain amount of seconds. So it's a good, it's a bad, but then again, I think the good overrules the bad when it comes to this perk. All right, next up is Diversion. Diversion, we all know this perk. It's a pebble. You're trying to distract the killer, or you might just be trying to throw it at the killer itself while he's looking at you or she's looking at you. Okay. It's basically just trying to distract the killer. It leaves scratch marks also wherever you throw the pebble, so that's also an add-on, but still I think this is a bottom tier perk. Useless, especially when it comes to killers that know what they're doing. Last up is Autodidact. This, I'm not even gonna explain this. It is a long description, and all I gotta say is I'd rather use Won't Make It or Botany Knowledge from Claudette's perks, and that's all I gotta say about that. Okay, I would not put this perk on at all. I would definitely consider this a bottom tier perk. Next survivor, let's go. Next up, we have my man, my boy, Detective Tap. All right, Tap, right there. I feel like that is fair for the Detective Tap. Now let's check out the perks. Detectives perks are Tenacity, Detective's Hunch, and Stakeout. Now, one of these perks, I think it's an amazing perk, like I said in the beginning of the video, with Bill's perks in combination with this. I think it was Unbreakable with Tenacity. Great combination, cannot go wrong at all, especially if you're going up against a killer that's like slugging. This will help you out a lot, which just lets you recover faster and also crawl faster at the same time. So it's 2 things in 1 perk, which I think is amazing. This is why I bring him up a little more to the B tier list. All right, now Detective's Hunch, I don't use this perk at all. I don't think it's useless, but doesn't help you out when it comes to completing objectives. Maybe if you're a lower ranked survivor, this might help you out just so you can get some information on the map to finding totems, when it comes to finding generators, when it comes to finding chests. This could help you out a little bit. So I don't think it's completely useless, but it doesn't help you out in game doing objective and trying to escape. Next up is Stakeout. Now, Stakeout I actually use a lot before the Ruin buff. What Stakeout basically does, I'll read the description for this one. For each 15 seconds you're standing within the killer territory radius, you're not in chase, you gain a token for a maximum 4 tokens. The only thing is that what you do with those tokens is basically whenever you're doing a generator, each skill check counts as a great skill check. Okay, so this would go really good if old Ruin was still in play, but now with new Ruin, I don't use it at all. I haven't even touched this perk whatsoever. Okay, now all that great skill checks do is basically just give you bonus blood points. So maybe if you're trying to grind out blood points, this might become useful to you. But besides that, I think it's a bottom tier perk. Next survivor is, we're going to be talking about the brand new survivor, which is Zarina. All right, Zarina, I'll be fair. All right, I'll be fair. Nope. Right there. I think B tier is a fair rank for Zarina. Let's check out the perks and see why. Now, Zarina's perks are Off the Record, Red Herring, and For the People. The reason I bring her up a little bit is because Off the Record and For the People are very good perks. I don't think they're top tier perks, but they are good and can be useful in a game. So I'll actually read the description for these. Basically, press the active ability while healing another survivor without a med kit to instantly heal them from dying to injured state. Or if they're already injured, you can put them into the healthy state. The only thing is that when it comes to this, is a very situational perk. If you do that, you gain the broken status effect. So if you're healthy, you get a broken status effect. If you're injured, you get the broken status effect. Now you can't be healed at all. Okay, but it like for a certain amount of seconds. Okay, so very situational perk, but I think it's great. It can definitely be a clutch perk, which is why I bring it up a little more on the list. Next up, we have the Red Herring, the second perk for Zarina. I haven't messed around with this perk that much, so I can't really tell you how good it is. So I'm just gonna go the best I can, all right? And to explain this, basically, if you're working on a generator for a certain amount of seconds and you go into a locker, that killer will see a notification the direction of where that generator is. So if you're trying to get the killer to one side of the map from the other, it's a good perk. But besides that, I don't think it's a great perk that's gonna help you survive in game or do basically gens. All right, the objective. Next up is Off the Record. So Off the Record, I'll read the description for this one. Once you are unhooked or escape from the hook, Off the Record activates. While Off the Record is active, your aura would not be shown to the killer, and grunts of pain are reduced by 100%. So this right here is actually not that bad. It's basically a Iron Will and also one of Jess perk. I totally forgot what Jess perk was called. I totally forgot. But it's basically 2 perks in one. But there is a time limit when it comes to these perks. When Jeff's perk has tokens and Iron Will, there's no time limit whatsoever. You can use that perk all game. So it's good. Then again, it does have its downsides. So yeah, done with Zarina. Let's go on to next survivor. Next up is Jane. Jane, I'll give you a fair tier right here, a fair rank. It's going to be a B rank. Jane is a B rank. She has some really good perks. Let's check them out. Now, when I say great perks, I mean one great, amazing perk, one decent perk, and then one perk I've never used in my entire life. Okay, so it's gonna be Solidarity, Poised, and Head On. We all know what Head On is. Basically, if you're in a locker for a certain amount of seconds, you can sprint out the locker and stun the killer. This is very situational perk. It is really good, especially if you use it in combination with Quick and Quiet. I'm sure most of you guys know that already, but it's really good, especially if the killer picks up a teammate right next to a locker. You can use Head On to basically help them escape. Okay, very situational perk, very good, it's also a meme perk. In my opinion, it is fucking hilarious. Okay, it is great. Next up is Poised. This perk is useless in my opinion. It is terrible. I don't use this at all. I think it's a bottom tier perk. It's not going to help you out really objectively in game. Okay, basically you need no scratch marks. You leave no scratch marks whatsoever whenever you complete a gen for a certain amount of seconds. That's it. I'm done talking about it. Next up is Solidarity. Basically, whenever you're healing a teammate, you also get healed back 40, 45, 50% of the conversion rate. So this is not a useless perk. It can be very good, especially if you're, let's say, you have 3 teammates with you, 2 teammates even with you, and you're all just healing each other. Let's say you're the last one to be healed. They won't waste as much time healing you. So it lessens time a little bit when it comes to healing. So that's great. That's really good. So not useless at all. I don't really use it much, but it can be used really well in certain situations. Okay. Next up, guys, I think I'm gonna leave y'all right here. Honestly, Ash, Quentin, Ace, I love y'all, especially Quentin. Quentin's my boy. All right, I love y'all, but I'm gonna leave y'all right there in D tier. I think this is a fair list in my opinion. Quentin, God, I don't even know if I want to go through these perks. You know what? We'll go through these perks. I'm not going to read the description, honestly. Quentin, we'll start with you. Quentin, we have Wake Up, Pharmacy, and Vigil. The only one I really use is Wake Up. That can actually be a clutch perk, all right? But it's not enough to me actually bring him up from D to C tier. Pharmacy, you're good if you're looking for chests. If you want to do loot build, this is great. But other than that, it's not going to help you out in games. It's not going to help you out objectively. Next up is Vigil. All right, okay, like, really? Like, okay, Vigil's not bad. It's not totally useless, but I definitely think it's a bottom tier perk. It helps you out when it comes to exhaustion, hemorrhage, mangled, hinder, and blindness. It lets you recover faster by 10, 15, 20%. Like, okay, cool, but then again, it's not really that clutch of a perk. It's not really that useful of a perk. So this is why Quentin gets a D. Next up is Ace. Ace, I swear, bro. Ooh. All right, let's talk about it. Ace, I'll give, you know what? I'm gonna say this right now. Ace, you're probably my least played in DVD. Just saying. Just saying. So, Ace's 3 perks are Up the Ante, Ace in the Hole, and Open-Handed. All right. Up the Ante gives you luck. Open-Handed lets you increase the aura reading abilities. Ace's last perk is Ace in the Hole, which is probably the most useful out of these. And it's basically just going to help you out when it comes to like a looting build. Alright, so I'll read the description for this one. When retrieving an item from a chest, there's a 100% chance that an add-on of a very rare rarity or lower will be attached to it. Okay, 10, 25, 50% chance to find a second add-on. So basically gives you extra add-ons whenever you're looking through chests. So like I said, useful in a loot build, but it's not going to really help you out in game whatsoever. Finally, we come to the end of the video, which is Ash. Ash, oh, bro, when you're injured, I hate you. I hate you so much, man. When you're injured, you're probably the most annoying one in the game when it comes to being injured. Okay, I'm just spitting out facts. All right, but let's look at his perks. His 3 perks are Flip Flop, Buckle Up, and Metal Man. Metal Man used to be so good. Metal Man used to be, I used to see that everywhere when Ash released. Metal Man was ridiculously good, extremely toxic, and was a top tier perk in Dead by Daylight, alright? But sadly, that time has come and gone, and now you're here in my D tier list, alright? Just saying. Next up is Buckle Up. I don't really use this perk that much. Just because it's an aura reading ability perk that lets you see how far of a progression your teammate is whenever they're down, whenever they're in the dying state. That's it. All right. Yeah, you get to see the killer whenever you bring them to the dying, to the injured. What we do for about a couple seconds. Okay, it's not really much to go off of. Okay, it's not really that great. And last we have Flip Flop. Now Flip Flop is an interesting perk. It's not useless at all. I use it every now and then, especially when it comes to combining it with other perks. It basically, I'll read the description for this one. While in the dying state, 50% of recovery progression is converted into wiggle progression when you are picked up by the killer, up to a maximum of 40, 45, 50% total wiggle progression. So that's really good, especially when you want to use it with like, let's say, want to put Unbreakable, one of Tap's perks. I totally forgot what that's called, Tenacity. And this perk, this could be a very great build. Okay, that could be a very great build if you use those 3 perks together. So that's why I don't think Flip Flop is that bad. But all in all, Ash still belongs in D tier. But yeah, guys, that is my list. That is my Survivor tier list. Let me know, guys, what you think. You think this is fair? If you think I should move someone up, if you think I should move someone down in the tier list, let me know your opinion down in the comments. I definitely want to know what you guys think, where these survivors stand. But yeah, besides that, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Like I said, I will be doing these maybe every new chapter release, maybe every mid chapter release, just so I can show you guys where I think these survivors and killers stand. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It definitely does help a lot, guys, and I'll see y'all next video I make. All right, peace.